Dominic "Dom" Stone. He was a legend, built from grit, forged in street races. His world was simple: family, loyalty, speed. He trusted few. His hands knew engines better than they knew people. Every race was personal, every win a statement. He lived by a code his rivals spat on. This wasn't just competition, it was deeper. It was about respect, earned, not given. Then there was Rico "Blade" Diaz, sharp, arrogant. He craved the spotlight. Blade lived for the thrill, but also for the win, at any cost. He saw rules as guidelines, meant to be bent, broken. He came from money, from privilege. Dom saw him as soft, undeserving. Blade saw Dom as a relic, a dinosaur. Their philosophies clashed like thunder and lightning, always a storm brewing. Their rivalry was old, ancient in street racing years. It started with a disputed finish, a cheap shot. Words exchanged like bullets, accusations flew, a line was crossed. Neither man would forget or forgive. Friends became enemies. Respect turned to pure disdain. Every encounter since then added fuel. More anger, more bitterness. The legend of their feud grew. Whispered in garages, shouted at finish lines. Today the air was thick with it. Their paths were destined to cross. Again, like magnets repelling, yet drawn to confrontation. The city felt small with both in it. Everyone knew trouble was coming. A storm was on the horizon. This was more than a race. It was a reckoning, a battle for dominance, for the soul of the streets. The tension was a living thing. You could taste it, metallic like blood. They met at a desolate warehouse, the docks. Salt hung in the air, corroding everything, just like their hatred. Blade leaned against a shipping container, a smirk playing on his lips. Dom approached, slow, deliberate, each step heavy. Stone, Blade drawled, his voice a knife's edge, still playing in the dirt. Dom's eyes narrowed. He didn't waste words, not on Blade. He let his silence speak. It spoke volumes of contempt. Heard you got slow, Blade taunted, poking the bear, trying to get a reaction. Dom remained still, a mountain of controlled fury. Talk is cheap, Diaz. Dom finally spoke, his voice rumbled. Low, dangerous, you want to prove something? Blade pushed off the container, stepping closer into Dom's space. Always, Stone, always. The challenge hung there, unspoken yet deafening. A race, the only way they knew to settle anything. For now. Dom's ride was a Dodge Challenger Hellcat, pure American muscle, a monster, black as sin, its supercharger whined, a hungry sound, threatening to tear the asphalt. It was an extension of Dom, raw power, unfiltered aggression, every line screamed defiance. It wasn't just a car, it was a statement, forged in Detroit steel, ready for war. It promised speed, it promised brutality, it promised Dom's kind of victory. Blade smirked. He had his own weapon, a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, an Italian masterpiece, low, sleek, exotic. Its V12 engine purred, a deadly predator, waiting to pounce, painted in venomous green. It was a scalpel, designed for precision, for speed that bent reality. This wasn't just about horsepower, it was about finesse, about technology, about showing Dom that his era was over. Two beasts, two philosophies, ready to collide. The chosen place, an abandoned airstrip, miles from nowhere under a moonless sky, only stars watched, and a handful of shadows, the true believers, the ones who knew. This was history. The air crackled with anticipation. No cops, no rules, just two men, two machines, and a stretch of forgotten concrete. This was their cathedral, their battleground. Tonight scores would be settled, or new ones made. Dom gripped the wheel, his knuckles white. He breathed deep. The smell of gasoline, of hot oil. It was his element. Blade revved the SVJ, its engine screamed, a challenge to the night itself. He glanced at Dom, a final glare, a promise of defeat. They were locked in. The world outside faded. Only the strip ahead mattered. Only the wind, the past, the hatred. It all funneled into this moment, this single point in time. A lone figure stood between them, a girl with a crimson scarf. She raised it high, then it dropped. Tires screamed, a violent protest. Against the sudden demand, smoke erupted, engulfing the rear ends. Both cars lunged forward, like unleashed animals. The Hellcat roared, a guttural, angry sound. The SVJ shrieked, a high-pitched battle cry. They were side by side, fighting for every inch. The night exploded with sound and fury, neither giving an inch, but something else was happening. Unseen, unfelt, yet, underneath each car, tucked away, small packages, firecrackers, planted by unknown hands. A malicious prank or something far worse as the cars hit triple digits, as the engines strained, as the drivers pushed, the first sparks appeared, a flicker under Dom's chassis, another under Blade's. Tiny, insignificant for now. The race thundered on, oblivious to the fuse. That had just been lit. The sparks grew, braver now. They found fuel lines, wiring, the firecrackers popped, not loud bangs, but sharp, angry cracks. Small flames erupted, licking at the underbellies, greedy, spreading fast. The smell of burning plastic, mingled with high-octane fuel, a new terrifying scent. The drivers felt it first, a strange heat, through the floorboards, a flicker of orange in their peripheral vision. Confusion warred with focus. Blade saw smoke, trailing from his own car, then from Dom's. This wasn't right. His mind raced. Sabotage? An accident? Dom felt the Hellcat lurch, a loss of power. He glanced down, flames, crawling up from below. The race was over. A new one began. For survival. He fought the wheel. The car now a bucking, burning beast. Blade wrestled his SVJ, its precise controls, useless against the inferno. Panic tried to claw its way in. The cars became torches, raging infernos on wheels, streaking down the airstrip, out of control. The beautiful machines, now grotesque figures of fire. Black smoke billowed, choking the night air. The few spectators watched in horror. This wasn't sport, this was disaster. The speed, the fire, the imminent destruction. It was a scene from a nightmare, their rivalry, now literally ablaze, burning away, along with their million-dollar rides. Both cars finally skidded, veered off the strip, screeching to fiery halts. Doors flew open, Dom stumbled out, coughing, Blade emerged, shaken, singed. They stood there, watching their prized possessions melt into twisted wreckage. The animosity between them, still there, but overshadowed by the shared shock, the sheer devastation. The fire raged, consuming everything, leaving only questions and two rivals covered in soot, staring at the flames. Today there were no winners, only survivors.